Hello, everyone, and welcome to Lesson 2 of Archeoplanetography. This lesson is going to be on understanding how to properly mark and label your outlined images so that it's easy for you to find it again and for someone else to find it again. At the moment, I was going to finish outlining this interesting image that I found in North America, and I have just a little bit of the curve of the top of the ear here left to do. There were two lines that I saw, and then I'm going to show you how to record your images. Gosh, I even wonder if this one has an earring. There's a little white blip here that makes me very curious what it's for. And it'd be right about in the place where you might stick an earring, but I'm not sure. Anyway, well, let me show you what I've been marking and what I found. This is an image in Central North America, right in the middle of the United States. And as you can see, I have this very interesting gentleman. What here looked for me all the world like a feather turned out to be part of what may be his hat. Now, I've marked some things over here on the side that I want you all to see. And let's see if I can make this easier for you. This image in North America, I've decided to call him, just because he was good looking, Dashing Man. And so after you've finished outlining an image, you need to give it a name, and then you need to give it away for other people to also find it. And the system that we've come up with is this. First of all, you're the discoverer of this image. So, like an archaeologist or an anthropologist will allow you the privilege of giving it a name. And I decided to call this gentleman Dashing Man, all right, because he looked handsome. What I'd like you to do is when you give your outlined image a name, put the name in all caps. That way, if people see something in all caps, they will recognize it as the name of the piece, followed by a dash and which continent your image is in. This image happens to be, as you can see, in North America. Here's North America right side up. Now you can orient yourself because, this would cover Missouri into Iowa into Illinois and right along the backbone or the edge of the Mississippi. So we know that we are in the continent of North America. You don't have to name the country because country borders and boundaries change. Continent titles probably will not in our lifetime. And frequently images will overlap more than one country. So I've given our image a name and labeled the continent. Now, the next thing you need to do is go down and get us as close as you can to the very center of the pupil of the eye. So I'm going to zoom in and see if I can see here. Here's our little pupil. And if you can't see it, I will outline it for you because it's pretty dark. Like we said in lesson 1, all real archaeoplanetography images, if you can find the eye, you can find the face. It will always be in perfect proportion. And real archaeoplanetography images will have a pupil. And here's this one. So now that I've marked the pupil, what I'm going to do is take a pin and put it right in the center, right like that. Now, over here, when you do that in your path description, see where it says Untitled Place Mark, but it gives you the latitude and the longitude. And I'm going to Control C, copy the latitude, and where it says Untitled Place Mark, I'm going to use the latitude as the name for this place mark. Likewise, copy the longitude, give a space between the latitude and the longitude, and here's the longitude. So for Dashing Man North America, the next thing that I want to see is a pin in the center of the pupil marking and displaying on your page the latitude and the longitude. All right, so say okay. So if you back out, now everybody, even if they do not know where in North America to find Dashing Man, they can go to the latitude and longitude and know that they are in the center of the pupil of the eye. If you can find the eye, you can find the face. The next thing that we have here is the second item is what position is north in? I can mark the center of the pupil of my eye of Dashing Man here, but if north is in the wrong position, it may be difficult for me to see what somebody else has outlined. So, when you're done with your outline and you've got your person upright, look and see where north is when he is upright. In my compass up here in the upper right corner, if straight up and down is 12 o'clock and straight down is 6 o'clock, and to the right is 3 and to the left is 9. If this is a regular round-faced clock, then north currently is in approximately the 5:30 position on the clock. So we're going to put north is 5:30. So now we have the pupil location and the direction of north. The third item that is very critical for anyone trying to find the same image that you found is this. And that would be the eye altitude, not the elevation of where you have your pin for the pupil. We don't care right now about the elevation. But what we want to know is how high of an orbit above the landscape are you in when you see this image this clearly? When I first outlined Dashing Man and then zoomed out so I could see the whole thing, the eye altitude I recorded at that point in time was 1,675 kilometers. Right now, my eye altitude is 1,916 kilometers. So we will zoom in until I get pretty close to that 1675. All right, so there we are, pretty close. We are at 1675 kilometers above the landscape, and this was what I finished outlining and my view when I drew the outline of Dashing Man, so that the next person who's looking for this image can say, okay, what was she seeing? What was the person outlining this image seeing? All right, so eye altitude is found in the lower right corner. I am asking all of you who are using inches, feet, and miles to switch to the metric system, and we will explain that more in another lesson. So in order to set your preferences for altitude and measurement in the metric system, go up to Google Earth at the top left where it says it in dark bold letters, click on it, come down and scroll to Preferences, click on that. Under the very first thing that comes up that says 3D View, right in the middle of the page on the second row of boxes, Units of Measurement says System Default, feet or miles, or meters and kilometers. If you check feet and miles, your eye altitude will shift from kilometers to miles. We are going to keep the measurement system in meters and kilometers. All right. Just so that you know what I am dealing with true color. I am dealing with medium-sized labels. I am having the latitude show up in degrees, minutes, and seconds. Of course, units of measurement is kilometers and meters. And then I would say use high quality terrain. And I have both the map size labeled as the largest it can get and the zoom relationship going all the way to infinity. So now that I have changed a few things, click Apply. Okay. And so we have eye altitude taken care of. So now you have pupil location GPS, the direction of north that you're setting up in your compass, and how far above the landscape you are in kilometers. The next thing I would like you to do, so that when we actually record these things, we have a pretty good idea of how big or small some of these images are, we're going to have you measure them. And what I'd say is from extreme right to extreme left and top to bottom of whatever it is that you have outlined. So because I can't quite see the top, I'm going to back out just a smidge. There we go. Now, here's my extreme right to extreme left. Click the ruler. See the little blue straight ruler up and down here in your top toolbar. Click on it. You are going to measure in kilometers. You're going to measure a line. And so I'm going to go from this side of his cape all the way over to this side of his cape. What do I get? I get 779, 700, we can round it up, 780 kilometers, okay? And then I want to measure, again, from the top of his head, about up to here, all the way down to the bottom edge, something that I outlined, and I get 1,065 kilometers. When I first measured it, I was not being quite as generous, and I ended up with slightly smaller measurements in the height. We will move this one up here, and the width. But this gives you an idea if you're scrolling through some images about the size of what you're dealing with. Later on, when we get farther into this, I will show you about light levels and the angle of the view. But for now, we will only deal with full daylight as well as a straight down from the top angle of viewing. If you wish, now that you're at the very, very beginning of outlining things, to create a spreadsheet with name, GPS coordinates, direction of north, eye altitude, height, and width, You surely may in order to keep track of your images. When you are submitting these images, we would like this information in this order sent with your homework. Now, I have one more thing that I want to show you how to do, and that is take a good picture. Because we are trying to get the eyes of as many people as we can trained in how to see these archaeoplanetography images. It's easy to see them when they're outlined, but it's a different thing altogether if all I show you is a satellite view. So what I want you to do when you turn in your homework is to take a picture of the outlined view with all of this information on the page, as well as the unoutlined view with none of this information on the page. And let me show you how to do that. Not the very last little box in the toolbar, the second to the last box in the toolbar. If you click on that, it is going to take a screenshot of what you've got in front of you. And so we're going to save this as Dashing Man, North America. North America. All right, so, and what this is going to do is it's going to put my photo on my desktop of Dashing Man, North America. Save. So now I've saved the outline photo with all of these markings. Now I'm going to go back up to my sidebar and scroll all the way up to the top of the sidebar where it says My Places and click. Suddenly, Dashing Man, North America has vanished, but I haven't moved my screen. I haven't moved anything else. So before I touch a thing, I'm going to click on the same Take a Screenshot box, second one from the end again. Click. It's going to say, what do you want to call this one now? So I'm going to call this one Dashing Man, North America area. And the reason that I'm doing that is I'm using the exact same title that I did in the outlined image, only now I'm calling it area. So I have Dashing Man North America and Dashing Man North America area. Click. Saved on my desktop. And if I bring up, here's Dashing Man North America area. And here's Dashing Man North America. Now, when I submit my homework or I post things for other people to see, they can look at the unoutlined and compare it to your outlined and hopefully look at what you see and ooh and ah and approve of your outlining job. But if you want someone else to be able to see something the way that you see it, you need the GPS, the direction of north, and the eye altitude at the very minimum. So your next homework assignment is to go out and find another eye, outline it, another face goes with that eye, outline the face of whatever animal from whatever era you care to find. Once you are satisfied with the level of detail with outlining and, if you wish to, surrounding similar color hues in the landscape, like you did in exercise 1 of lesson 1, then go to the very center of the eye, mark the pupil, put your little pin in the middle of the pupil, find the GPS, put that in the description of where the eye of the pupil is, give your person or your animal a name, dash the continent, and then below that we need the direction of north, as in where it is on the clock, the eye altitude, as in what was it down in the lower right corner of the page. And then I would really like the height and width because I'd like to see the size of the things that you are submitting. Finally, go up to the toolbar, to the second one from the end, take a screenshot of the outlined image, just like this one, with GPS, name, direction of north, eye altitude, height and width. Screenshot that, put it on your desktop, take off all of the markings, screenshot the very identical same image again, label it with the same name, only this time add the word area at the end, and when you submit your homework, submit the outline and the unoutlined image of the new eye and the new face that you have found to do for lesson 2. When you are finished, post your outlined and unoutlined images on spreadrightmindedness.org. Forum 9, the Archeoplanetography Forum. If you have not signed up for an account there, you can get one for free, spreadrightmindedness.org. And it has an Archeoplanetography forum that we are sharing information on. Right now we have a public hour-long plus back and forth answer session, hopefully scheduled for this coming Sunday, 6 days from now. And let me look at our schedule and see when might be good, but we will be announcing things on Twitter and Facebook when we come up with that. Have fun with Archeoplanetography Lesson 2, and I look forward to seeing your homework. As always, this is Sue Walker. Happy outlining, folks. Bye-bye.